Hello everybody, I'm High Treason. You probably haven't seen any content from me in a while, except that weird comparison video I did. Nonetheless, I have attempted to do several things. I have attempted to review Ultima Underworld, but I suck at the game, and I was so disappointed that I made a video of me sitting and ranting while smoking a cigarette for 15 minutes. And that was pretty poor, and luckily I stopped myself uploading it. So, Christmas came and went, and I don't like Christmas, as some of you are probably aware. But people insist on buying me things, which I hate because it makes me feel very guilty, because I don't buy anybody anything. I don't expect anything from them. And for Christmas, I got the wonderful Sega Reactor console, which is this thing. And I attempted to review it for the channel, and had countless problems. The main issue I had was that the controllers, which are these things, would not work properly. I could not get them working, which brought me to a point of, I've never had that before, a console pretty much refusing to allow me to review it. So I talked about the WonderMega, and this is what today's video is going to be about. It is going to be about the WonderMega. I'm going to start with the Model 1, and then possibly, if I've got time left, talk about the Model 2. Otherwise I can save that for another day. The WonderMega is, we shall have a look at this thing. So this here is the WonderMega, Model 1. Now, we need to take a proper look at this thing, so we shall do that immediately, or else this video wouldn't be getting to the point very well, would it? If we start at this side of the console, it is pretty familiar to any user of the Sega Mega Drive. It has the word WonderMega on it. Occasionally there'd be a couple of labels there, but it seems those have come off. This has the Sega logo on. I believe there are only 5,000 of them made that wear Sega as opposed to Victor, which is JVC outside of Asia, or at least Japan. These buttons here are just the audio in the game. Those are new. Obviously it plays Sega Mega CD games. And as I said, we have a cartridge slot. That's Streets of Rage, I think. Power button, reset button, takes a wired controller, and what's this thing here? I wonder what this is for. It seems completely unnecessary to have something like that in the front of the console. Well, this slides open, and as you can see, it takes headphones for which we can adjust the volume, which is no different to the regular Mega Drive. These here are microphone inputs for karaoke features. Now, those are pretty cool. It had its own game. I don't have this karaoke game that was made for it, unfortunately, and that adjusts the level of the effects selected by the switches on the top of the console. I mean, look at this. It's completely needless, but I like it. I mean, that's extreme right there. And these things were expensive when they were made. They're for the most extreme Mega Drive fanboys of the 90s, and they only came out in Japan, which is sad. Model 2 came out as the XI, or Cross-Eye, however you're supposed to say it in the United States. The was cut down version of the Model 2. So here we have the back panel. Now this is where things get a little interesting. We have your regular external port that a lot of the earlier Mega Drives had. This is for like the X modem, things like that, or you can use it for programming the thing with a bit of know-how. We have AV out for RF unit. You can make your own leads for that. We have S video. Now I'd like to point out here that the reactor does not have S video. That back panel is not much good, but the cable for it only has the composite output like that. And you have left and right audio. Of course you have a power input, but what in the hell is that thing? Right there. MIDI output. I must say I am rather interested in this. It only works with certain games. but it puts paid to that theory that it's impossible to convert accurately to MIDI, because I have seen it in action and it's fine. Works well with the DX100, which is right there. So I guess we should fire this thing up and see what it does. If you've seen my video about the Terra drive, you'll already be aware of this issue. In the UK, we have this obsession with having a higher voltage than everybody else, because we think it makes us look good. It actually is just because our electricity system is very inefficient. We lose about 60% of electricity on the lines, I think. I could be wrong on that. So we have these great big plugs like this. Obviously this thing only came out in Japan, and the Model 2 kind of came out in the United States, which means that this has the plug for the lower voltage system requires a step-down transformer. Like that. Mildly annoying, but at least it only takes one plug, unlike the Mega Drive when it's coupled with a Sega CD. Interestingly, I'd like to point out at this point that the Mega Drive and Sega CD were capable, it was capable of taking power from the Mega Drive. The traces are there, but they're cut. One day, maybe I'll make a video about actually restoring that and powering it from the Mega Drive, although it'll probably blow the power brick because of the consumption of electricity, which I suspect will be why they did it. Because a lot of the bricks for the Mega Drives were underpowered, except the power adapters that came from Yamaha, I think, put out enough power for it, but I'm not certain. So, anyway, we'll start this thing up. One thing I would like to demonstrate very quickly is when you turn the thing on, it lights up. Well, look at that, that's awesome. Let me turn this light out. Look at that. Kicks ass. But that's not the best of it. Give me a second. Other than the thing just basically saying, I am made of awesome, it has a neat little party trick. Load it with no game, and the eject feature works. Now that's its little party trick right there. How awesome is that? You can close the lid remotely as well, but I think I've just knocked the D-pad, so it's not going to happen. Shame that. But nonetheless, believe me, it works, and it's awesome. So, I mean, come on. Wish your console did that. Forget the Xbox 360, this is where it's at. I'm here on the level select screen for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 because I want to demonstrate its superior processing power. This thing has effectively the processor from the Apple II. Even for the Mega Drive section, I believe it runs at 12 MHz as opposed to near 8. And it gives you an advantage. Many people will be aware of slowdown in Aquatic Ruin Zone, especially in 2-player. Unfortunately, I'm sad and I don't have any friends to play it with, so I only have single player. But nonetheless, I believe you'll agree that it runs one heck of a lot more smooth. Look at that, no slowdown. No slowdown! So that's, this system is basically your ultimate answer for the Mega Drive. If you want the best Mega Drive out there, you've got to get yourself one of these. Yeah, I'm not going to spend very long on the games because, of course, you get some interesting side effects, such as game titles changing depending on region. Like, even if I put a European version in, it'd say bare knuckle on this console, which is pretty interesting. I mean, that's what Streets of Rage is called in Japan, so figures, right? And you get problems with regional lockout. You see, this is interesting because the cartridge I've just put in is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, you'd imagine that Sonic and Knuckles would also not work, given that it came out after. Sonic 1 and 2 work without question. But now Sonic and Knuckles will start straight up. That's why there's a little notch out of the cartridge, is to allow it to fit into Japanese systems, as far as I'm aware, because it will work. And even more interestingly is this. If I take Sonic 3 out, lock it on with Sonic and Knuckles, and then slide it into the console, it should work without the regional lockout. Of course, I'm playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles as opposed to Sonic 3, but I'm still got access to the Sonic 3 content, so it's a pretty bad lockout mechanism if you ask me. But that's the game as opposed to the console. See, what we're going to do now is play with the buttons on the front, and possibly the karaoke inputs, but I don't see any point, so I don't think I'm going to bother doing that. I might play with it off screen, if it's any good I'll include it. So what I want to do though, like I said, I'm going to play with the little buttons on the front, see what those do. They are absent on the Model 2 it seems, but hell, you can't have everything. So, my favourite tune in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is going to be Ice Cap Zone, I believe. Of course. Right, so let's down the microphone and play with these things a bit. Well, not get rid of the microphone entirely, but change some stuff around. And as you should have heard, it's quite good. You can manipulate the way things sound quite a bit. The extra bass, game feature, I know what that's for. I think it works with CD audio tracks as well. So it's like a primitive equaliser, it's rather nice. I can't get the karaoke feature working, I guess it only works with certain things. Doesn't it support karaoke CDs, the Sega CD? I believe it does, so that's probably what it's for. That'd be rather nice to play with, actually. So, we've probably got time to take a quick look at the Model 2. But first, let's try this thing out on a level real quick. Which level shall we do? Well, we got Sonic 3 and Knuckles in, may as well do a Knuckles level. What do I like of Sonic and Knuckles? Lava Reef Zone, come on. The Model 2 is not vastly dissimilar to the Model 1. But notice a lack of controller ports on the front panel. These are here in the American XI model. I should really clean that up. No, it doesn't matter for the sake of this review. You know, now the automated CD case is gone. They cut down on this one a bit, but it's still very nice. It's actually a dark blue colour. I don't know whether that'll show up. And yeah, you have the buttons in roughly the same place. Takes cartridges. Now they're all made by Victor, JVC in the Western world, which is obviously where I'm from because I hate the Japanese. I don't, honestly. I wouldn't want to live in Japan, and you know I'm not into Japanese culture and stuff, but I don't have anything against it as such. That's Japan. You know, they probably hate us. They probably think the way we do things is daft. That's a modification that the Japanese man I bought it off did. I can get RGB output there, and I've got a custom cable that'll run to a 32X, which is kind of interesting. I'd love to be able to test it out. I've got a 32X now, I just need some games for it. As you can see, same output as before, and controller ports on the back. Rather nice. But you haven't seen the controller that comes for this yet. You see, the other one takes a regular Asian Mega Drive controller. The Victor version of the Model 1 had its own grey Victor controller. I do own one, but I can't remember where I've put it, and I never used that controller anyway. You know, but when you looked at the front of this, you may have noticed that, and this is where it's got its right, because you may have noticed this. Now this is where the controller effectively connects to the console. No wires. The great thing is, you can use a wired controller if you run out of batteries. Now, on the reactor, it ran out of batteries within minutes, and even on brand new batteries, the remotes didn't work most of the time. Now, I want to show you something right here. Now, this is going to take a bit of setting up, so there's going to be a break in the video for a second. Now, you should be able to see most of my screen. I'm not sure how much of this you can see. But here's the controller. You plug Player 2's controller into that part there. How awesome is that? So you have effectively two wireless players. You only get one wireless controller, and it does work. This, honestly, it works. No joke. It's a bit like the Panasonic system that came out, the 3DO. No, there we go. Hey, isn't that like the Xbox? No, the Dreamcast like the Xbox. Sega built an arcade machine that had the same specs as the Xbox. Did you know that? Conspiracy. Maybe I'll make a video about my theories on that one day. But that's cool. This will also control a JVC television set. But that's not the most awesome feature of it. The most awesome feature of this thing you're about to see now. I have to get the console wired up first. I should have done that earlier, I've just realised I forgot. Here's the cool feature though, the really cool one. I can hold it further away than this. These batteries are nearly dead. They've been on my living room floor for like a year. They powered a remote control car. They're dead, basically. It has a function button, look at that. You can't press these by accident, so you hold the function button. Those work with the TV, the bottom ones there. I don't have a TV that they work with, I intend. But there you go. Now, it's a bit touchy, so we'll do it this way. Give me a second. We'll switch the console on. It's probably because the battery's low. So the console's on right now. You should be able to see it. For whatever reason, I'm not getting the signal on here. This could be about to go horribly wrong. But no, there we go. Right. You hold the function button and that, and you can control the power to the console. But for whatever reason, I think the remote batteries might have finally decided to go. Nope. I'm just too close to it. You can get too close with the remote. How awesome is that? I don't even have to get up to switch it on and off. So I guess we'll put a game in. I wanted to play Michael Jackson on it, but I don't know where the cartridge has gone. I found the box, but not the cartridge. As I said, the weird audio buttons are gone off this version. Shame, really. No MIDI port. Shame. But it's got wireless in the early 90s, and it works surprisingly well. I don't have to switch the console on from here, do I? I don't have to touch it. Oh, there we go. Sonic 1, I mean, how can you go wrong with that? Sega! Oh, do you know what? Now I think of it, I want to reset this. If you press function and Y, resets the console. Sega! So let's do things properly anyway. Incidentally, the Japanese version has a different set of cheat codes, but it still has the normal one if you put it into a Western console for whatever reason. Oh, there's no spin dash in this game. Now the latency on this isn't half bad. It's noticeable when the batteries are a little low that it's not quite as good as a wired controller, but it's exceptional. It actually beats most modern consoles for latency. I mean, keep in mind how old and worn out these batteries are, and I can play it fine. The only thing it lacks, really, is an indicator to tell you when the batteries have run out, like what the Wii has. But, you know, as a gamer, you can figure them things out for yourself. And I mean, look, I can play this perfectly fine with a wireless control. Right, so if I unpause it, like this, can't see as well as I could before though. I've forgotten where I am in the maze. I think I'm going back up. Yeah, I am. I know where I am now. But you can probably tell it's extremely responsive for such an old device. I don't know what just fell over. Seriously, it's perfection. As far as wireless controllers go, this is probably the best you're going to get. And it uses a different... It effectively works like a TV remote, so it probably works through quite a bit more than most of them. I'm putting my hand on the back to see if it still works. I don't know whether you can see the received light on it blinking. There's a little green light. It works sometimes with my hand in the way. That's how good the signal is on flat batteries. I mean, you have to be amazed by that they could do that back then. And not that they could do it, just the fact that it worked. Yet so many of them don't work today. And Sega of all people. Now, Sega gets a lot of stick, and I don't understand why, because I mean Nintendo's done some pretty crappy things in their time, but people seem to like ignoring Zelda's muck-ups, don't they? You know, it's like the GameCube, you never hear of that thing anymore. Why? Because it had bad games on. But no, we still hear about, you know, Sonic Spinball and Sonic 06. If we don't like it, forget about it. That's what I do. I never think about those games unless somebody else brings them up, because I honestly don't care. It's like everybody releases a bad game. At least Sega's consistent, so you don't get out of companies like Nintendo. See, I used to be a Nintendo fan, but I'm not anymore. And it's because of things like this. This really helps. I guess I should conclude my review now, because it's going to get a bit long. So I shall conclude it. So this WonderMega here. Oh, there is one. It has one last party trick actually, that I just want to do this again. It never gets old. Ta-ta. Yeah. So the Sega and Victor WonderMegas. Are they good? Yes, they're extremely good. They're awesome. You know, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It couldn't ask for more from them, really. They're effectively the ultimate version of the Sega Mega Drive. If you're a Sega fan and you like Sega's old consoles, you should look into getting one. It won't be cheap, but the amount of joy you can get out of the thing is amazing. It's just that feeling of holding the controller with no wires and playing Sega's games, the Mega Drive games, and a good version of them, not some poor emulated copy like what the Reactor can give out, because that is terrible, to be honest. I'd love to show you that thing, but I honestly, I can't. It just won't work for me. It's selective about when it works. These will work every time. When you put a game in and press the on switch, it works. Now, there's a couple of things I've missed out today. The CD stuff, the only thing worth pointing out there is that it loads the games about between 2 and 4 times faster than a regular Sega CD, which is... how they did that is a mystery to me. It runs so smoothly. They're absolutely great. So if like me you're a big collector of Sega stuff, you have to own everything that has a Sega logo on it, then you may want to look into getting one of these, because they're great. Seriously, that's all I can think to say on them. That they're awesome. You just need to look at them. The fact that they basically just sit there going, I am made of awesome. And that's it. That's it. That did it for me. So, you know, thanks for watching. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna have a schedule for videos. They just come out as and when. It's always been the same, really. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm High Treason. I'm hoping to get the Sega Mega CD promotional tape up soon. It's not mine, obviously. It's Sega's from the early 90s. It's sort of interesting. Some people would probably want to watch it. You know, I upload stuff like that every now and then. So, hope you've enjoyed this, hope you enjoyed that, and whatever I do next. am I treason? And I shall see you later. Now to go and do all this difficult editing with the awkward software and lack of disk space. The stuff I do for you people, you really just don't appreciate it. Yeah, I'm only kidding. Don't worry about it.